Hi guys, it's Maddie. I know my fan page says I am Madeline, but I usually go by Maddie. I thought I'd do a little vlog to answer some of the questions that you guys were so generous to submit, and then at the end of the questions, I will be pulling a lucky winner to get a signed advanced copy of Asylum. It's not the finished one, it's an advanced reader's copy, which is basically for, reviewers, and it's not quite the finished product. So the cover is different and some things are missing, but they're cool. It's kind of it's a neat opportunity. Not everybody gets to own one of those. So there are quite a few questions, so let's just hop right in. I have them in a list right here. Okay, Melissa asks, what about this genre, apocalyptic, zombie, plague, end of world, etc., attracts you the most? Side part, do you think you would survive the apocalypse? Awesome question, Melissa. I think what attracts me the most is that there's this element of desperation, and sort of everyone has to be their most intense and sort of heroic self. There's really very little room for kind of messing around. You have to get straight to the plot and to the excitement. So that's nice. It's cool to have characters who might not otherwise have become heroic or gotten into the action. Suddenly they're thrown in there. So they're a little bit more everyman characters that you then sort of get to see grow. And I like watching people who, Allison's a bookstore clerk and she ends up doing some pretty amazing stuff. So I like that you're throwing people who are sort of just average into the deep end and watching whether they sink or swim. So I think that's what attracts me the most. And how would I do? Ooh, I don't think I would do so well. Honestly, I'm kind of a coward in most situations in real life, so I'd probably be curled up somewhere, just reading a book and drinking, the last of the wine and trying to just cling desperately to life and maybe try to make the last few days not too miserable. I don't think I'd last too long. Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. And this next question is from Adam. Hi, Adam. Why did you choose to make the protagonist of this book male, this book being Asylum, the new one that's coming out? Did you find it, to be challenging after writing Allison Hewitt and Sadie Walker, or was it a refreshing change of pace? There's a few reasons why the protagonist is male. Oh, hair is crazy today. I apologize. Mainly because there's sort of an important link to a character from the past, and from a historical point, it really makes more sense for that whole character to be male, and then for the connection to sort of, it just worked better for the sort of historical link that the main character has for them both to be male. And it is kind of refreshing. I mean, honestly, it's not that different. I don't really focus on gender binaries or stereotypes or anything like that when I'm writing. I kind of just worry about what that character needs and wants in that moment, and then it sort of solves itself in a way. But yeah, it was nice. It wasn't challenging so much as just different, I guess, would be the answer to that. And another question from Adam. What part of Allison Hewitt was your favorite to write, and why? Were there any major plot points that you changed during the writing process or just didn't make it into the book? My favorite part, gosh, that's hard. I really enjoyed writing the opening. It just came out so easily. It was just one of those things where it worked out really well, and I didn't have to really fight it. It just came out. And so when that happens, that's always a pleasure. You sort of just let the muse take over, and it's kind of like you can't stop it. You just every chance you get, you're at your desk. So yeah, the opening chapters, I would say, were probably my favorite part. Major plot points. That changed. Well, oh yeah. Okay, this is a good story. There is a major plot point that was different in the original draft. I don't know if I'm supposed to disclose this or not, but whatever. Now the truth is coming out. Allison originally got together at the end with Julian. Spoiler alert if you haven't read Allison Hewitt, that's not who she gets together with. Sorry to crush your dreams. She got together with Julian in the original draft. He made it to the end, and she made it to the end, and Colin also makes it to the end. They just don't end up together. It's sort of a parting as friends kind of thing. But it just didn't work out. It didn't really. I felt it was kind of a neat, like, realistic spin. Things don't really always work out in that kind of fairy tale ending. But it did. I think the way it works out is better. Honestly, in the end, I think it has a better sort of flow, and it all fits together nicely. So yeah, in the original ending, her and Julian actually end up together. And because honestly, if I'm being honest, Julian's my favorite character in the book. I mean, I love Allison, obviously, she's great, but Julian's my favorite character. And my agent, hi Kate, if you're watching, hates Julian and was so happy to find out his ultimate fate. So yeah, if you really wanted them to end up together, you have my lovely agent to blame. However, if you like Colin and Allison together, you can congratulate her. But yeah, no, it's better the way it is. But that is something that was pretty major that got changed. When am I doing a signing in New England? I don't know. I would love to do one. I love the East Coast. It's awesome. I haven't been there in a while, but I would love to go back. You also asked later in the other thread about fan fiction and what I think about it, and sorry if this is like not exciting for that. I guess people are asking different kinds of questions at different points. So yeah, just roll with it. Fan fiction, I think is great. Honestly, I think it's whatever gets people into writing. Honestly, nobody makes fun of like cover bands and covering songs, so I don't know why fan fiction gets such a bad rap. And it's also sort of the ultimate compliment. I mean, the day I see fan fiction of one of my books is the day I know that I've really made it. Jennifer asks, do you have any plans, ideas for another book featuring Allison or Sadie or a new character also existing in the same world? Really looking forward to Asylum. I'm looking forward to it coming out too. Jennifer, plans. Right now, no. There is no new zombie novel in the works as of right now. I would never rule it out, though. I would never say never. Because I do love those characters. I do love that universe. I think if I return to it, honestly, I would probably go with probably Allison's offspring of some kind, a daughter or a son or something like that, or maybe a grandchild, sort of tip it down the hereditary line a little bit. But yeah, right now there's nothing in the works. But like I said, never say never. It could happen. Ducks asks, what was your inspiration for the book and why include pictures? Inspiration for the book? Well, I like creepy books. Obviously. I mean, my first two had an element of fear and an element of sort of horror or, suspense. And I'm kind of a huge, like I said, I'm kind of a coward. I don't even really watch many scary movies. I'm terrible with them. I mean, they freak me out. But there's something fun about sort of indulging in that side in my imagination. It's something I'm drawn to in writing, not so much in the movies and the media I consume, but I like creepy books, and I like, I don't know, I have such a fondness for sort of old college campuses. I think they have so much sort of character and history, and they kind of have their own, they're sort of a living organism. And the book takes place in a New England college, which is modeled very closely after the college I went to, Beloit. Kind of has the old buildings, and you can see the history and the architecture, and it's all I don't know. It's a thing I love exploring. I love college campuses and sort of the living history that they represent. So I would say those two elements sort of coming together was a big part of the book. And then the second part was why include pictures. I don't know. There's a sort of like I said, there's sort of a historical element to the book, and so it has this kind of found history, found legend feeling to it, and so the pictures add to that kind of, almost post-secret, there's like little scraps of things, and just sort of a more historical record-keeping peek at what you're reading. And it's really just, it enhances the experience, I think. I think it doesn't go so far that it sort of overrides what you might be imagining. Because I don't think that's not helpful. I mean, you can imagine most of the things for yourself, but I think they add a cool, creepy factor that is just, I don't know, like I said, it's an embellishment, and I don't think it overrides any sort of imaginary pleasure that the reader gets. Also, they look totally kick-ass. James! Oh my gosh, hi James. I actually wore my new Striker Eureka t-shirt for you. You can't really see it. No, that's not the way the camera works. Oh god, there it is. It's awesome. It's Pacific Rim. We're nerds. We nerd out about this movie. And you should all go see it, because it's awesome. And there's robots. James asks, what's your writing schedule like? Is it organized and paced out over certain days? Is it born on the back of inspiration and adrenaline, written in spurts and starts, or is it more of a predictable exercise? Well, it's not predictable. It's not organized. Well, that's not true. I mean, an average day for me, an average working, sort of work day, I guess, during the week, not the weekend. Although I do write on the weekend quite a bit too. Is usually waking up, 8 in the morning, getting coffee, and then getting to the desk and sort of catching up on all my social media, as I'm sure is most people's sort of morning routine. So I go to work in my pajamas most days, which is pretty great. But I do try to sort of, have breakfast, have coffee, take a shower, it's kind of like an actual work day, because the more I can trick myself into a pattern and into a routine and sort of force, from this time to this time is when you're going to write. That's usually what works the best for me. I sort of force myself to sit down, for 4 or 5 hours and just, even if nothing good is coming out, just get something out, and try to keep the routine, keep the pattern, so it just becomes almost second nature. And it works pretty well. I mean, you can't, there are obviously really high productive periods where you have so many ideas and they're all flying out and you can't even, stop what's happening, and it's awesome. Those are the best. That's what everybody hopes for all the time. But it very rarely is consistent that way. So you sort of have to set a routine for yourself, and then, you have consistent work coming even in between those high volume periods of productivity. I also reward myself with things like food and video game time. So, I sort of, Pavlov dog myself where it's, 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm like, it's getting close to that time. I can, have a snack and play some Star Wars and that kind of thing. So that helps. Sometimes I assign friends to berate and check in on me, which helps. So, I hope that answers your question. It was kind of all over the place, as are most of these answers, but, there's no real magic to it. You kind of just have to flog yourself until it works. Yikes. Jessica asked, what would be your ideal location and weapon in the event of a zombie plague? Or what is your favorite pastime in life other than writing? I will answer those both. Location and weapon, I would want to be, I don't know, maybe a grocery store or a mall, because you'd have access to, food and clothing and various, goodies to sort of survive. Weapon, I think that's tempting to say something like a shotgun, but one, I am terrible with guns. I am not a good shot, and they freak me out. To ammunition, I feel like the ammunition would always be the kicker. So probably either like a blunt object, like a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer would be great. Allison has the axe, which is also pretty good. But yeah, I think I'd go for something like a sledgehammer. So I think I'd probably get really exhausted really fast, but there's a trade-off with any weapon, I suppose. And what is my favorite pastime in life other than writing? I really, really, really love playing video games. I love thinking about them and sort of writing them in my mind, and sometimes, on the computer too. I love how interactive they are, and just the sort of, I feel like there's huge opportunities for storytelling and technology there that are just, it makes me totally geek out. I love it. So that, and I don't know, I enjoy cheese. I don't know who does it. I don't know. I mean, I'm really sorry for people who are lactose intolerant or vegan or whatever, but is this cheese a pastime? Can we say that? Does that count? I think it counts. Cheese. Daniel, thank you, Jessica, for your question. Daniel asks, no, I can read. With zombie apocalyptic outbreaks aside, how much of the real world, people, places, and events, influence your books? Quite a lot. There are a lot of characters and locations that overlap. I did work in a bookstore. The layout of the bookstore in Allison Hewitt is very similar to the one I worked in. In fact, it's pretty much identical. I actually lived above that bookstore while I was working there, so I modeled the apartments after the apartments I was living in. And a lot of the characters were based on people I interacted with or knew, for better or worse, and they were sweethearts about the stuff that was kind of unflattering sometimes. But honestly, most characters in my books are sort of Franken characters. They're sort of pieced together from real people, or, they're usually constructs that are, 60% anecdotal from my actual life, and then the rest is all, to serve the plot or to sort of add something to the story. So I hope that answers that. It's locations, I say, would be more so, because I try to, if I don't know the place specifically, I try to find pictures of it. I try to, really get a good handle on the layout so that I can accurately portray it. Like I said, in Asylum, the college that they stay at is modeled pretty closely off of the college I went to. So, yeah, it always creeps in there. I mean, there's always going to be real life flavor that sort of sneaks into my books. So I'd say it's like 50-50, depending. Some characters are more on the nose with their real life counterpart, and some are, mostly fictional. So Christopher asks, hi Chris, what are your favorite and least favorite parts of writing professionally as opposed to as a hobby? That's a good one. I have never gotten that question before. Favorite would be getting to hold your physical book in your hands for the first time. It's pretty spectacular. I mean, it's like dance around the house, throw confetti, fabulous. It's great. There's just nothing like it. I mean, it just comes in the box and you open it and it's your book and your name's on it and all your words are in it. It's amazing. So that's my favorite part. Least favorite would have to be, I don't know, there's a lot less pressure when it's just for yourself or for your friends or, just kind of an online community type thing. There are not as many reviews, or for some reason, the reviews don't feel nearly as hurtful, maybe because it's, there's all these strangers that suddenly show up to tell you, how good or bad you are at the thing you love to do, which I think most people deal with on a professional level in some way, but it's hard not to take bad reviews personally. It hurts. It's actually made me much more careful about leaving reviews on sites like Amazon and Goodreads and things like that, because now, having experienced the other end of that, where people tell you how much they loathe your work, it's made me more sensitive to the fact that these reviews and those words, this is a general APB, I'm putting this out there for all of you guys. Authors read that stuff. We read it. We read all of it. I have a Google alert set on my name. I know when you review my book and trash it. So, it's hard not to get defensive. It's hard not to message that person furiously and set them straight. But that's everybody's entitled to their opinion. So you'll get those great reviews that make your day, and then the bad ones that put you in a funk for 6 months. Okay. Kidding, but not kidding. So that's probably, the pressure and sort of the sudden influx of everyone's got an opinion. That's kind of the tough thing to deal with. I think anyone would have a tough time with that. Let's see. Bill asks, when you write, do you use past life experiences that have impacted your life significantly? What inspired you to write Alison Hewitt? Favorite book, by the way. Aw. Thank you, Bill. That's very sweet. Past life experiences, yes. As I said in the previous answer, I do draw a lot from my actual life. There are a few anecdotes that will climb their way into the books that are word for word something that's happened to me. One that I really love is, if you've read Alison Hewitt, and you have, obviously, but for those that haven't, there's a part where she's describing, she's missing her mom, and she talks about how there was a Halloween where there was a freak snowstorm, and her mom and her mom's friend had to carry her up all the stairs trick-or-treating because she was the Little Mermaid and her fin wouldn't allow her to go up the snowy steps. That is true. That happened to me as a child. My amazing mother, would go to all this work to make my Halloween costumes, and they were always fabulous, and there was a freak blizzard on Halloween one year, and I was the Little Mermaid, and so I was basically a flesh-colored penguin because of all the coats and warm clothing I had on under my leotard and over it, and then the shell bra and the fin, your feet they can't really move much, so her and her friend had to sort of lift me up under my armpits and carry me up the stairs. So that's true. There are little stories like that are absolutely true. But for the most part, most of it is just made up. It's a lot of it's just made up, or it's spliced together from events that have happened to me. But yeah, there will always be those little flavor bits that are directly pulled from my past. So yeah, that was a good question. Thank you, Bill. And what inspired me? I was working in a bookstore, and sometimes the days were very slow, and so I started to imagine what it would be like if zombies showed up and pulled the store apart, and then it just spiraled from there. That was it. That was the whole thing. Anna Hildenbrand, who is my real life best friend and an awesome person. Hi, Anna. There is some important backstory to this question that the context really will make or break this question, I guess. For those of you playing along at home, I used to be a insane teeny bopper when I was a little girl. Not even so little. When I was a teenager, I was a huge NSYNC fangirl. They were my jam. I loved them. And Joey was my favorite. So there's the riveting backstory for this question. She asks, if Joey Fatone of NSYNC asked you to write him into your next book, what would you say? I would say absolutely heck yeah. Heck yeah. Why not? I mean, sure, there's always a way to work that in. And I will never turn down a somewhat reasonable dare. So, yes, I would do it. Although, I mean, sidebar, is this like him himself, you know, like Joey as Joey, or a character based off of him? I think that would make a big difference in how much we saw of that character. Because if it was based on him, I could easily put in, like, you know, a vaguely Italian boy band pop star, washed up, whatever. I can do that. If it was him as him, that would be more of a chat. That would be more of a negotiation. I think I would need an autograph or something. Chris Blake asks, hi Chris, do you find it difficult to put yourself in the mind of your characters when they are in horrific or desperate situations? Actually, I think that's the easiest part to write characters. I mean, that's when it's really, I think that's when their very basic character flaws and positives come out the most. And it's actually very easy to guess, or not guess, I mean, they're my characters. It's easy to decide what they're going to do, because I feel like those really desperate situations kind of speak to them on a basic level. You know, they're going to compromise their morality or they're not. They're going to, you know, sacrifice themselves or they're not. And I think those are actually the moments that are very clear. If you've done your job as a writer, they should be very clear, because you know where the character is at that point. You know who they are and you know what they feel and what they're likely to do. So I don't find it difficult. I think that's actually compelling. I think that's the part I really like, because if you've done your job, it will be obvious what they would do and how they would react. So yeah, I hope that answers that. Those are great questions. Oh my gosh, those are really good. So thank you for those, and I hope I've got you all. I've put your names into adorable Star Wars mug, and I'm gonna draw to see who gets this beautiful advanced reader's copy of Asylum, personalized, of course. So much excitement. I should put in a drum roll on this somehow. All right. Who is the lucky winner? Adam! Adam! Yay! Confetti! Angels! Choir of angels. So awesome. Adam, congratulations. I will be poking you over the internet or getting in touch somehow to let you know and ask how you want the book made out. Otherwise, I'll just come up with something and you'll have to live with it. Seriously, the hair today is a situation, and I deeply apologize that you were submitted to it, because usually it's so on point, but it's not. It's just not. But the good thing is that I have nothing to do today except work, so maybe get groceries. So really, no one will suffer except for all of you. I apologize. Well, awesome. Adam, congratulations, and thank you guys again for your awesome questions. I hope that this wasn't too insufferable to sit through. It's kind of my first time doing this, so hopefully next time it'll be easier and more streamlined. And please, 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 if you haven't already, pre-order Asylum. It's coming out August 20th in the States and in the UK, and I don't know the exact dates for the other countries, but please, please pre-order it. It's awesome. It's really, really good. There are really neato pictures, and the characters are fun, and it's creepy and exciting and thrilling, and there's a mystery, and there's, of course, many nerdy references, as my things will always have. So please do it. I know, you know, money is tight for a lot of people, and it just would mean the world to me if you guys, you know, pre-ordered or, went out and got it that day. And hopefully I will be able to get to some bookstores and meet some of you, and it will be great. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a fabulous, fabulous day. And I will be seeing you all soon in Internet Land. Bye.